Born Jordan Trace in the town of Plano in good old Texas in USA on the 14th of March 1982, he actually grew up to learn Mandarin on a conversation level due to the town of Plano having a major concentration of Chinese Americans. Right after he finished high school, he wasted no time and went straight to join the US Marine Corps, making him a fourth generation Marine. He did his first tour in Iraq, and following that he managed enough experience to the point he volunteered as an explosive ordnance disposal technician. After touring Iraq for the second time, he returned home to America, where he enrolled into university at Texas A&M, where he'd go on to earn a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. Following the graduation from university, he'd go on to join the FBI, where he got to apply his experience and skills. He also spent 4 years as a field agent with the Hazardous Materials Response Unit. During that time as a field agent, he met Detective Aruni of the Royal Thai Police, and during an operation in Bangkok, they were tracking down a weapons racket where they stumbled across a bomb. They transported the bomb in a pickup truck through the streets of Bangkok while Jordan attempted to disarm it. But the truck unfortunately got into a head-on collision, so the attempt was a fail, which caused the truck to explode. As a result of this accident, Aruni lost her left arm and leg, while Jordan only suffered third-degree burns to his hands and arms. He later recovered but still felt guilty and responsible for Aruni's injuries. After some time in the FBI, Jordan wanted a more dynamic environment, so he transferred to the SWAT division of the FBI. He began developing new barricade protocols and actually excelled at it. 2015 rolled in and it would turn out to be a good year for him, as he'd earn a spot on Team Rainbow, and he went on to display further interest in research and development on upgrades to gadgets. His interest became noticeable when he collaborated with fellow operator Hibana on creating her X-Kairos exothermic gadgets, which actually led to an eventual close friendship between the two. During Jordan's time in Team Rainbow, he'd go on numerous operations with the team against the White Masks terrorist organization among fellow FBI operators. 5 years later in 2020, Aruni was recruited into Team Rainbow, and Jordan, learning this information, took the opportunity to reconcile with her following the incident. However, she put him at ease, telling him she didn't blame him for her injuries and is going to train hard to beat him at the upcoming 6th Invitational. 2 years later in 2022, the Nighthaven organization would betray Team Rainbow, and following that, former director of Rainbow Harry Pandy performed a restructure to the team, splitting it up into teams of 4, with each of them having a specialized role. Jordan was chosen to lead Team Redhammer, which was established to undertake high-risk operations, acting as a source of help if necessary. Early next year in 2023, Jordan's Team Redhammer and allied Team Ghost Eyes joined forces on an operation to recover Nighthaven weapons that were stolen from an unknown group. However, they would quickly learn this was a trap set by former Rainbow operative Deimos, as he had an agenda to eliminate all members of Rainbow by any means possible. And a bomb would go off in the compound, injuring Jordan and fellow teammates. While Jordan was in recovery, he and Hibana had an argument about a potential operation to be led by Viper Strike operator Brava, because she hesitated to take out Deimos during an earlier attack. However, he'd end up agreeing to let Brava lead the operation on the condition that she takes out Deimos if given another chance to. Former director of Rainbow Harry Pandy performed a psychological assessment on Jordan, and for his profile he put down regimented, disciplined, orderly. These are the words people use to describe Jordan. He knows when to relax, especially in social situations. He takes pride in knowing all the variables. Jordan prefers to be the one in control rather than leave things to chance. Harry Pandy also wrote a report on Jordan which contains 4 big and small chunks of text, with the first one: for someone so disciplined and orderly, Specialist Jordan Thermite Trace likes to surprise. He can be a practical joker, and he's always ready with the smart aleck comment. Beneath the surface, however, the recent loss of his sister to cancer and the death of his mother a few years prior have made it difficult for him to channel his thoughts and energy with the focus to which he is accustomed. I am concerned that he uses humor to avoid his grief. It's important that he understands some coping mechanisms can delay the healing process. There are resources that can help him, and I will continue to offer them when and where I may. Second, Jordan demonstrates strong tactical leadership, but can also plow ahead without consensus. I don't believe there's any lasting friction with other team members. He's well liked by the other members and has a solid working relationship with Hibana, Thatcher, and Twitch. He can be quite the social butterfly in his downtime. Third, A few things to work on. Jordan has excellent communication when he chooses to use it. He has good strategies but sometimes tends to lock in. I know that he's capable of being a more agile thinker, so I've given him some tips on how to recognize when he's becoming too bullheaded. Fourth and last, there's a lot going on behind his smile. I'd like him to find a way to regulate himself, to find balance for his work and private life. Jordan doesn't show obvious stresses, opting instead to channel any anxious energy into something positive, such as the R&D lab. It has been difficult to convince him he needs a break from his role and identify as an operator. Shifting his attention to other intense tasks isn't a solution. I've given him some mental relaxation exercises that don't demand considerable time, but can be tackled throughout the day. Hibana in particular can be a good influence on him since she regularly practices mindfulness techniques to focus and relax. I hope he will take her advice to heart. Just like the other operators in the game, Jordan has a unique device called the Brimstone BC3 Exothermic Charge. And even though this is Jordan's device, the lead evaluator for his device was fellow operator Hibana, and she had some words for it. Thermite's Brimstone was one of the first devices tested in the new lab. It's the same way he has to be the first through any reinforced walls. On the day of testing, Jordan was busy developing additional prototypes as he did during Operation Chimera and wasn't immediately available. Since I'm very familiar with the exothermic BC3 charge and have an expertise in explosive ordnance, I volunteered to conduct the evaluation. Our tests included adjusting the mixture stages to see if we could achieve stronger and more concentrated melt. The results helped us clearly determine the chemical reaction times at peak temps. Our test on the Brimstone BC3 exothermic charge went well and produced some surprising results. Some were enough of a surprise to lure Jordan to join us. That was fun. We've been able to book extra time to apply some of the data to his prototypes. I'll file another entry as soon as we're done. Here's a fun fact about Jordan Trace before I end it off here. Jordan's surname Trace actually comes from Ireland as an angelicized form of the Gaelic surname, however you say that. The surname means descendant of Treesach, a personal name roughly meaning warlike or fierce. Jordan Trace, or Thermite, is actually one of my favorite operators to use in the game when the opportunity arises, so diving into the lore behind him was actually pretty fun. But other than that, that's going to do it for this video. If you have any suggestions for anything lore siege related you want to see, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new for more content like this, and I will see you legends in the next one. Peace.